Alright, so now we're going to talk about how to break through Hell 4 and also used almost the same team to get through Inferno. I'll be making a separate guide on Inferno later this week once I can fully clear it. I need to switch my unit's gears a little bit. I'm out of currency. So we're going to have to wait a couple days and farm to make sure that's good to go. So we're going to go over the team quickly and then go over each unit individually. So we're using two DPSs. I'm using Messiah and Shada. Note that you can use like Ramoka and Shada or Messiah and Ramoka. Ramoka and Shada is probably what most of you guys might end up doing because these two are not light and dark units. I'm using Kaz as the crowd control unit. I'm using Ling Lao as the sustain. And then I'm using Chaiki the Echo as the turn pusher and attack buffer. Alright, going over the builds on how your DPSs should be built. Messiah is my main DPS, so make sure that your skills that do damage are maxed out on your main DPS. This set, I mean, since I've only been farming Doki Doki, it's Swift Rush Harvest. I didn't want him too fast because I want him to be the last in the turn order. He has 88% crit rate, so it's, you know, as best as I can get it until I get better substats. And it is crit rate, crit damage, and attack percentage. I'm still testing whether attack percentage or crit damage is better here. So far, attack percentage has been more useful. But maybe I might change that since I'm no longer using Lilly. And then the shell, as you saw, my skills are pretty much maxed out 554. And the shell, this is the reason why you guys will be able to clear Inferno and Hell 4. He takes the opponent's max HP into factor whenever he's dealing damage. So Messiah is like, you know, AoE attack. All of them are taking 12% of the max HP. Now, the damage cannot exceed the attack. So that's kind of why I put the attack module on this guy, so that he has a little bit of attack so that the Revelation guy can do more damage. Now, Shada, I will say this. Now, this is a note. If you guys have Kloss, you can use Kloss instead of Shada here. But I'm using Shada because I don't have Kloss. She's built similar to Messiah. You know, I have her on crit rate, crit damage, crit rate, and crit damage. Now, the reason why I have no attack percentage here is I'm just taking abilities, taking the factor this attack boost you're getting here from the Soul Essence. And same thing with this guy. I don't have enough currency to reroll this right now, but I want these to be more damaging stats, but this is what Revelation has on him. Now, moving on to Kaz, her effect accuracy is 149%. These are the stats. Her skill 3 and skill 1 are pretty much maxed out. I saw no point in this right here. I just did it to try to get the extra slumber. The modules, you want Cass to be honest, you want Cass to be as fast as possible. You want her to go first or second in your turn order because you want her to put the slumber before the DPSs go. For the shell, we have this guy. He's going to be very useful in keeping your team alive. He just puts a shield, so when these guys are beating you up, you don't get killed. And that's basically it. It's very simple. You don't need this much effect accuracy for Hell 4, but you do need a lot for Inferno. So that's why I'm having it set up for Inferno. Eventually, I'm trying to farm a red piece to get this replaced. But because, 60% versus 46, I want 260s. But for now, I'm just using subsets to make the difference. So basically, for your crowd control, you want them as fast as possible, and you want them to go either first or second in the turn order. Preferably second for the strategy we're going to talk about. For your sustain, I'm using Ling Lao. If you're using Ling Lao, you basically want her to go first. you want her to put this AoE immunity up so you don't get like stun locked by the enemies in Doki Doki. So, you know, you have her fast, you know, you build her HP defense, whatever you need for survivability. I have none of her skills level up because I don't have cubes. And for the shell, we're using Gigabyte. Now, Gigabyte's really good because Gigabyte will push the opponent or push Linglo up if the enemies are too fast. So she can cut in between and get her abilities up. And that's going to be really strong so that Linglo can go first. Because I know some of you guys may not have really, really fast units. And I forgot to mention this, but you want your units to be 6 stars because they provide more speed. The speed gain they get from going from 5 to 6 stars is really good. Now, for Hell 4, keeping them 5 stars and your 6 stars are only your DPS, that's fine. But eventually, you want your entire team to be 6 star because of the speed benefit it gives. It's going to help greatly. Now, for Chaiki the Echo, I maxed out her passive here so that she can give attack buff to 3 allies. And eventually I want to max this out to get the skill cooldown reduced. You want her to go before your DPSs because you want her to buff your DPSs. So, you know, I have her on Swift Rush and eventually Time Weave. I'm still working on that, but mainly Swift Rush so that she's fast enough. The shell I have, well, I farmed Codex of Magic. That way she can give her attack buff this little ability twice. This one here. So, you know, I just have it to do that because that way she can cheat buffing you know, Shada. So you don't really need Codex of Magic. You're fine without it. It's just pretty good. You're probably better off you know, you can use some of these guys. You can use this guy. Like, you can use whatever you have, right? You can put another one to these guys if you want more defense. But right now, I'm testing Codex of Magic. And we want these to be better, you know, preferably red passives, you know, after. But for now, this is what we got. So that takes care of the gearing and what we need for our units. All right, so now we're going to talk about how this actually goes all together. So the turn order, I kind of put them in a way I want the turn order, just to show it better. I want Ling Lao to go first to put up a AoE immunity. I want Kaz to then go and hit these guys with Slumber. Then I want this girl to buff these 2 units. And that is the order I think is best when dealing with this. Now, what we need to talk about here is you want to be able to defeat this first wave. No matter how many turns you take, when it is done, you want Kaz to have her skill 3 available for the next wave. So that way you don't get wrecked by the dudes in the next wave. Now, what you can do here is if there's specific ones you don't like, right? You can move these around in continuous battle setting so you can kill specific things easier. Like, you don't like Andrew, you know, go for it. I just leave it at default for this one. And for wave 2, I put the elite guy in the front so he just gets wrecked first. We get rid of him because he's the most troublesome one. He can just one-shot your guys. If you think you're not able to kill this guy fast enough, then you can just put him like to the back of the line. But I try to get rid of him as fast as possible. So let's look at this. So my Kaz is faster right now because she's 6 star. The Echo buffs everyone. Revelation plus this goes. Puts defense break on some of them. This guy goes. Wrecks them. We get the defense buff. She goes. He goes. We buff again. Alright. So I was a little bit too strong there, but it's fine because Ling Lao is enough to keep my team alive for one turn. Here comes the AoE. You want this to happen at the start, so these guys are down. And now you can start beating them up. They can't stun you anymore. And there it is. It could be faster, it could be a little slower depending on who gets stunned, but that's why we have Ling Lao to try to prevent that. This is just like a more of a teaser to the next video, which is going to be Inferno Guide. But let me show you guys why I set up the team like I did. We're going to put on 2x speed just so you can see a little bit better. I think the first wave is harder to declare than the second wave, because a lot of times what the issue I'm having is the Kaz's AoE Slumber is not available on the next wave because I took too long here, and then I get destroyed by all the enemies. So you're going to see how these guys are really fast. I have not, like, I don't know if you can make your guys faster than the opponent. I'm not sure if that's possible yet. That's why I'm using Gigabyte. And what I want to do is transition Shada to put 2 effect accuracy, so she is the dedicated defense down for my DPS. If you guys have Kloss, Kloss is so much better at putting defense down. I don't have Kloss. And I don't feel like building Andrew. Andrew's like a guy that looks like this. He does have an AoE defense down, but I'd rather not. I already put my resources into Shada. I'm not going to bother to raise Andrew for now. So, watch this. Look how fast these guys are. Like, my dudes are not fast enough. So, these guys are going to go, and we're going to try to use Gigabyte to cut in between so that I can put up the AoE immunity and cleanse. So now that Cass can go, put that slumber, get my attack buff, and go. Now it's not gonna, I need to speed tune so that Shada goes faster than Messiah. Messiah is a little bit too fast right now. Because I want that defense break now before Messiah goes. And that's kind of what I'm working at now, is turn order and having the right stats. And eventually I want to get Ling Lao to 6 stars so that she doesn't get hurt. But we're not gonna defeat this. I highly doubt, because like I said, I have a hard time defeating Inferno. But I hope this video helps. Stay tuned for my Inferno Guide. I'm the Gacha Game Cultivator, and catch you guys on the next video.